Most people think you need to be fearless, illegal, or Banksy to get into street art. But here's the truth, you don't need permission, you just need a plan. And that's exactly what this video is. It's a guide from real artists who've been getting up for over a decade. So if you ever wanted to turn the streets into your own canvas, this is the video for you. I'm Sage, one of the founders of Bones and Black and Cult 33, which is our art collective that does both street and fine art. What started as just a passion for getting up in the streets of LA in the early 2010s ended up turning into an art career and fine art. It turned into clothing. It turned into so many different aspects. We are basically creators. We actually met to make music and ended up making street art. And today I'm going to start telling you exactly how to get in your own journey of street art, the safest way possible. We even built a starter kit and street art shirts so you can be a street artist or just look like one. When I talk about street art, I'm talking about something a little bit different than, say, typical graffiti or murals. Street art is still a guerrilla type activity usually, and wheatpaste style street art involves paper and paste. So something that you can not necessarily have to paint out on the street. It's something that you can print. It's something that you can paint at home, make copies of, and then go out there and distribute them wherever you feel that they fit best. There's a lot of different reasons people do street art, but for us, it was about adding to the environment as opposed to defacing it. A lot of street art obviously ends up in the art district communities of any sort of big city because that's where people are looking for stuff. And you can find roll call walls where there's all kinds of different pieces. It's almost like a mini gallery just happening on the side of an abandoned building or down an alleyway. Sometimes it's cool to put street art in an environment where you know when you take a photo of that, it's going to have this cool background or look epic in its environment. And that's another reason why we'll pick certain spots. Sometimes people put street art that's political, some put up street that's healing, and some just want to make you look twice. Before we go any further, I just want to drop the street art code here. There's a few rules that you should follow. Even though we are talking about guerrilla activity, it still doesn't mean that you shouldn't respect the others that are in your space. Number one, don't go over anybody else's art. If you can't find a spot for your little paster in the roll call wall, put it around the corner. Don't go over other people's art. The only time it's okay to cover other people's art is if you're making something so epic up there that you can't help but be like, okay, I respect you. You fucking went crazy. You went over my piece, but that's pretty good. And respect where you paste. Don't do it on the front of your local business doors. Obviously, not on a government building, not in a school. Usually keep them to the art district, keep them to abandoned buildings. Often off in nature on abandoned buildings is cool. Don't deface nature itself. Have some common sense. We're trying to do art. We're not trying to just deface the whole universe. Let go of the idea of permanence. So your street art could last until it rots away in the sun, or it could be gone by the time you get out there in the morning. Back when we used to do street art in LA, we could put pieces up. There were people out there buffing bright and early in the morning. I would put a piece up and it would be gone before we would be able to get out there and take a photograph of it. So keeping in mind that it could last for months, and even if it does, it's going to fade in the sun. People are going to tag it. You never know what's going to happen to it. And that's part of the beauty of street art, is watching it morph within its environment, as well as seeing if it's going to be buffed the next morning. Let's go a little bit into what you need in order to start your street art runs. So from one of our street art kits, let's break down what you're going to need for your first run. First, you're going to need your artwork. Usually something on a piece of paper. Normal piece of paper is the best material for street art, for wheatpaste street art. Here I have one of Sean's Keep Street Art Illegal pasters. I sometimes do just total paintings, whatever it is. Make your pieces. and make however many you want. You can photocopy, you can create multiple pieces that look nothing like each other, and think about how many stops you want to do, because you don't want to end up with 1,000 pieces. You'll be out there all day, and maybe you just want to start with one. So get your paster ready. Sometimes starting with one is the best idea because, you know, you're just like, it's over so fast, you're ready for the next time. Next, you're going to need paste. While it's so street to make your own paste, and I made our paste for years. You get flour, you get water, and then you add a little bit of sugar, which gives it a little bit more of a gloss and makes it harder. That is traditional wheat paste. Flour, water, and a dash of sugar. Everybody has all kinds of different methods. I have heard people put flour, water, and glue together, glue and water. The combinations are endless, but we definitely did the traditional way for years. We would make a giant batch on the stove, because what you do is you heat the water until it's boiling, then you mix in the flour, take it off of the heat until it's nice and smooth, then you add a little sugar in and let it cool. Once it's cooled, you're going to go ahead and throw it into your wheat paste bucket. This is what we used to take out. This is the actual bucket we used to take out in LA. And we would fill this thing with this warm, stinky paste. It smelled like flour. But oh, you know what? If you didn't go through it all on your run and you take it home and you leave it sitting in here, it started getting moldy. It would smell like blue cheese. It was disgusting. And then I'd have to clean this thing out. After a while, I was just, oh, it was the worst. One time we went to Las Vegas, which is where we live now, and we had a bucket of wheat paste in the back of the trunk in 100-degree weather. You know what happened? It exploded. And the whole car smelled like rotten, cheesy paste. So times have changed. Nowadays we use a wallpaper paste called Roman. Now keep in mind that if you're going out on the streets, wheat paste and flour is technically not an adhesive. So there's a legality to this, which makes it a little bit like, well, I didn't really put any toxic chemicals on your wall. If you're working with wallpaper paste, you might be skirting the line a little bit, but it doesn't rot. It smells good, and it works well. You're going to need something to put your art up there on. I like to use rollers as well as big brushes that hold a lot of paint in them, because what you're going to end up doing is sticking this in here and rolling this on the wall. So you're going to need your application for your wheat paste. If you'd like, some people will wear gloves. This is definitely not an activity for people who like to stay clean. You're going to get messy. You better watch out, because if you're driving around doing this, your keys are going to get some wheat paste on it. Your door handle is going to look crazy by the end of the trip. Gloves could be helpful, but it seems like you'd be taking them off between each piece and having to start over again. And our street art kit, if you actually get this, comes with a little booklet with all the information on things you might need, as well as a trusty bandana if you feel like you want to look a little bit more vandalistic. Honestly, I wouldn't suggest wearing something like this out on the street. So here's how to plan your first street run the best way possible to be safe and stay under the radar. Scout first. We always like to look around, find out where the spots are. If we're in a new town, we'll drive through the art district. Sometimes you can find some good roll call walls or some alleyways that already have some pieces in it. For your first time out, I suggest going into the neighborhoods where there is other art. Sometimes they're on street poles, sometimes they're on electrical boxes. That's the best place to look. But I highly suggest before you go out and do your street run, find a bunch of spots, find some areas. And keep in mind that when you're out there the night of, things might get a little different, so you might have to switch it up. Pick your time. For us, 3 a.m. was always ideal. Ideally, 3 a.m. on a Saturday night. Saturday night is a little bit later, people staying up, but if you wait till right around 3 a.m. when everybody kind of goes to sleep, it's also going to go into Sunday morning, so people aren't out there early. So it's this perfect little time to get out there and not see a lot of people. Number 3, go solo. I hear this a lot. People always are like, oh, I want to go on a street run with you. Oh, let's go do street art together. This is not a group activity. 2 people at the most, and that other person should be a lookout. Sean and I go out together and we play lookout for each other. Once you get a little bit more comfortable, you can actually look out for yourself. You got to keep an eye out on making sure that there's also crazy people on the street, and you don't want to get involved with them either. This isn't just about avoiding the cops. This is about avoiding the crazies. Prep your supplies. We already know what you need. You need your wheat paste. You need your brush. You need a towel if you're not going to have gloves because, like I said, messy. You need your art. And I would highly suggest taking a bottle of water because you're going to need to stay hydrated. Sometimes when you're out there trying to get up, you get a little bit breathy. Now for some execution tips. Get your bucket. Get your brush. Put your brush in your bucket. Get your pasters. You're going to take these out to the place you're going to paste. You're going to set down your bucket, and the first thing you do is paste the wall. Get it all over, keeping in mind how big this is. Don't do just a little bit because then you won't fit on there. Cover the wall with paste. Place your paster. Paste on top of that. Seal the top and the sides. Make sure you get the corners because as soon as a corner comes off, that's where people are going to want to scrape at it. Right now, by the way, I am wearing our Unseen and Unshaken t-shirt by Bones and Black, which honestly, I think this is how you want to be at 3 a.m. when you're out pasting. You want to be unseen and you want to be confident and stay unshaken. So this to me was like the best shirt for street art, best shirt for that kind of confidence. So tying it all together. Want to wear our art? Check out Bones and Black. So again, you don't need a master plan. You just need the guts to start. Do one paster in your local art district or on an abandoned utility box, and I promise you, that will get your motor running. The first piece always feels shaky and then it becomes addictive. Some people do this for therapy, others do it for chaos, some for just pure joy. I think that's me. But whatever your reason, you do belong here. If you've watched this far, you're one of us now. If this video set fire any sort of excitement for you, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you're going on your first street run after this. And you can also grab one of our single serve street arts through one of our websites for Cult 33. And you can get your kit ready to go and we will be there with you. Beginner friendly, it's goth approved. And if you want to wear art, check out Bones and Black. We make clothes for creatives, for misfits, and for the late night outlaws. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at 3 a.m. on the streets.